Yo, Dr. Hammer.
Hey. So now we're doing our review for the midterm, the next floor video. I just watched it for this. I really liked it after I got to watch it again. Yeah, once I understood it.
Why didn't you like it during? I liked it during.
I don't know. I was really just trying to like focus on it and see like what can I take from this, and like I was kind of overwhelmed. But once I like kind of was more familiarized with what I was trying to say, I felt like I was like really able to focus on it, and I was like really able to enjoy it more. I also read a lot about the Dante's Inferno and the whole Divine Comedy sort of deal, with the whole like, you know, third level of hell and the gluttony, and like I can definitely see it. One of my favorite things is just kind of like the way the short film made me feel once I finished watching it. Just like, I don't know, just like when they just like kind of kept falling and they just like didn't stop, and like, you know, you see the chandelier just going down after them, like it just makes me like wonder, like, you know, are they gonna hit the bottom? What's gonna happen when they hit the bottom? Like, is it just a loop? Like, do they just keep falling? Is that their hell? Like, you know, are they gonna eat each other? Like, they talked about
eat each other. They would.
You think they would?
Yeah,
I think they would too.
And I think they would throw up and then like eat the meat with their own vomit.
Yeah, because that's kind of like what they talked about, like in like Dante's Inferno, what like the actual third level was, just like raining vomit and like just sitting in pools of their own like filth, and I mean just the food too. Just the visual imagery with that food.
Oh yeah, and like the oysters.
Yeah,
they brought a rhino in.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
They also had like a mini shark, and it looked like blood was like on
so
top.
why do you think it was all meat?
Just the carnal, the blood,
And
it's grotesque.
then
Like,
the
think about it. If it was all fruit and salads, would you have the same feeling?
I guess not.
I think, and also like the gore and like the oysters that did look like oysters, that they look like brains, and they were eating like the liver. And
why do you think the director made the people look high class? Like, was he trying to make a statement about?
Well, because they're it's supposed to be gluttony, so maybe they were like, you know, like
they could have made them middle class. He could have made them like average. Civilians.
I also think he was making fun of like the fine dining situation, like what you get with like the string quartet, and you get with the servers and like carts of food. And I think he was like harking back to like almost like a Victorian era sort of feel with the dining experience.
Mm-hmm.
In just like the way all of the characters were dressed. And then there was that one woman, the one skinny woman.
There was a lot of kind of like outs. So like they had all of them wearing black except for one old guy who was wearing a white tux, and then we had the one girl that was very hesitant about eating, and then we had the one that was sitting and then had like constant like a feeding tube. And then we also had, what else do we have that was like different?
I guess there was a couple.
Yeah, she like holds his hand.
Oh yeah, there was a couple.
The one thing that just strikes me most from that film is the skinny girl on the when she like when they're feeding her the sausage and she's like, no, I don't want any more. They continue, but like she takes a bite and like you see a tear just like streak down her cheek through the dust, and like that's
says the most. I think her character says the most about the whole ordeal.
Well, and then I think it's like she like loves it but also hates it, because right after
I
that
think
she
can't stop. I think she completely hates it.
But after that, she
can't
gives
stop.
up, and she's like smiling and stuffing her face with her hands.
I thought it was fake.
No, but they completely like abandoned silverware, and they're like,
it's almost like peer pressure where she has it all around her and she doesn't want to do it, and she knows like the consequences, but she like loves it so much that she can't. But
that's like part of the way like Dante does, like he writes about the punishments, like their sin is their punishment, and that's like that has to be her punishment. She has to eat it, and so like she's almost just like letting herself get lost in it, like everybody else, but like just a moment like where we see her surrender is painful. What about the music? There was like
the drums, and then they also had the cue music where they fell, and then also the string quartet.
Yeah,
I think those are the three different.
Yeah, I like the drum. It made me like think of a heartbeat almost, even though it was like very irregular. It made me like feel like the heartbeat, like the constant, like they're alive, like the meats, the.
I kind of thought I don't know why, I thought it was very much like a war feel, and it might have been like an interior war, you know, like where you're like, you don't want to do it, but then you give in, and then that's like, you're like fighting with yourself kind of thing. I don't know, I
feel like that also with that drum music, I don't know how to describe it, like the regularity of it.
Yeah, of
like,
the
I
drum.
don't-
Like a-
like it made it seem like that was like a
tempo.
constant thing, like this
Yeah.
whole hell thing's a constant, like going along with the beat of the music, like it's just a
And you can't help but get lost in its flow.
everlasting type of
Yeah. And the beautiful like quartet music while they're all dining.
I feel like
And
that's
just,
also what
stuffing
plays.
the
Kinda
bacon.
like
I think
that.
that's also what
Yeah.
And like the sounds of them eating.
I think the last, because I remember the first couple of times that they were eating and then the quartet goes on, but on the last time that they show it, it was actually the drums that played
Yeah.
rather
Yes.
than
Because
the-
they were just free falling.
at that point, like there wasn't any pretty free like music. It was just the
That's what
drums.
they were like,
And then
completely
that's
lost
when they
and
were
that
like,
becomes-
that's when they like became like animalistic
Yes.
almost, or they weren't like. That was when like the meat looked.
Yeah, they
the
weren't
most
waiting though
raw
to be
and-
cleaned off though. They were eating it dirty
try
with
to
the
mask it at
hands. They were
all.
like grabbing off of other people's plates. Like it just became like it just progressed from like almost like kind of like disgusting but organized to just carnal.
Agreed. What about the beginning of the movie starting off with him looking to the camera and then the end of the movie ending with him looking into
I
the
think
camera?
that's just like a callback to like the loop that
Yeah.
it follows. Like how it's
Never
just
ending.
like never ending. It starts the way it ends. Just it's
Can
just
never get
constantly
out of
going.
it.
Like you know, they show the dinner table. They do a scene where the camera cuts up and looks up into the ceiling, and you can see up in the ceiling like that
That
there
it's
are
going
holes,
on.
and so like you know that
That
like
they've been following.
Yeah, for a while.
yeah. And so I honestly think you can just like watch it on repeat, and it's just the same thing because like that's their hell.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stop. But it's interesting. I don't know. I love the whole like talk with Dante's Inferno, like because I feel like it's such an interesting story,
Yeah.
and I feel like that this is such a great portrayal of it, which is
I
it's,
agree.
It's very
they
blunt,
did a pretty
too.
pretty
I
good
think,
way
I
about
think
doing
so
it
too.
without
Yeah.
I was
like
like,
it gets the
and
message
Bruce,
across, and it kind of gives you that eerie feeling without like really like grossing you out or makes you not
the
want to watch
food was
it.
really gross.
I thought,
though.
yeah, I was kind of grossed out
Like,
by
it gets
that.
you that feeling, but it's not like, oh, I can't watch this. Like this, I have to turn this off. You
Yeah.
know, like it gets you the idea, and it gets you grossed out, but it doesn't like turn you off.
But like another reason though, like I feel like has anybody here been to Europe?
no,
So like the
Yes.
film like was not made like in America, like it was in a different language. But like if you've ever been to Europe and if you've ever like been in like a slaughterhouse in Europe or a slaughterhouse or butcher shop in Europe, like they do eat food that's like we wouldn't eat. And it is
but
like a little bit,
rhinos?
yeah, it's like a little bit on the grosser level. So I feel like in America, the food is like extremely repulsive because we don't eat anything and stuff here.
Yeah.
Like we get our steaks well done, we like, but over there it's like very
I
like
see what you're
different.
saying. So you
you
think
know.
a European may not think of it as being a
Like I
bad-
think they would still see like the food is disgusting, but I think like how it hit like me, especially like oh my gosh, that food is absolutely repulsive.
Yeah.
I feel like well a European would be like oh that's gross, but like
it ain't that
you know
bad.
I've seen it. Like you know they have rabbits in like butcher shops with the heads on them and the eyes in. Like
yeah, they had like an armadillo.
Yes.
the armadillo.
And then they also had a jaguar, I think.
Yeah, or something.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
like
Some, like,
whole
big feral
animals
animals.
that they were
Bobcat or
like.
something. I don't know.
I also
feeling.
liked how, like when you bring together a group of people around a table, and it's like breaking bread, like creating friendships, camaraderie whenever you're like sharing food with each other. But these people, like they just feel even more carnal, like more
Yeah.
animalistic.
The
That's
only
when they
interaction-
started stealing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was only like
And it was
that one interaction where she grabbed the man's hand
yeah.
and like shook it, and like they didn't. Other than that, there was no interactions with each
Yeah.
other.
I thought that
Other
was
than like
interesting.
stealing the food, and then the other guy looking at him like, "What the hell you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
Do you guys think we should talk about terms? Social
Um,
commentaries, obviously.
Well, the thread. I think definitely the thread is the.
Is it? The
I
constant
don't know,
food,
the constant food
Yeah,
conversation.
I think the
Yeah.
food is kind of the thread, but like we kind of lose the thread in the end though because there's not any food being brought in.
no, but then you
But it
would
does fall
assume-
apart. It falls apart without the food.
No, you would assume that they would eat each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why would it?
So still
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still-
it's
this
not-
the
So
and they
action.
do
Actually,
stop
it's
eating after it's
stuff
being
being
served. So I
served.
think just like food in
Eating.
general. We talked about the cinematography. We talked about the lighting, the music. I did like the dark lighting, and I like the
I did
like
That was
too.
interesting.
Yeah.
Why
I
would
did
they choose
too.
a chandelier?
To again
Like,
feed
they
into
just,
that
like-
whole Victorian,
yeah, like
high
the
class.
beauty sort of.
Like just how they had the strip
That prim and
quartet, like
proper.
But it wasn't.
higher
Like
class
it was
type of
very.
living.
Yeah.
Complete opposite. Maybe
Yeah.
they did that on purpose for like the contrast to give
Yeah.
like such a strong contrast.
So protagonist and antagonist, which is like kind of hard to look at because it like is like in hell,
Uh-huh.
and so like you know, I don't really know if
saying.
I don't really know
Or is
if
it
they.
the
Well,
group
they
of
all
people
don't.
at the
They
table?
all do not arc. We know that.
well, no,
And
but
they
I
also,
think like metaphorically.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but I don't think we can say like each person
Oh
is
my
their
gosh.
own like protagonist and antagonist, but they
No,
end
no.
up just being an antagonist.
No. Like I think like the food is the antagonist.
Why?
Or like just an example. Like I don't think
Maybe, yeah, I
each
guess I
person
could
has
see
like the
that.
protagonist, antagonist like you're thinking. I think it's like a generalized like antagonist.
I can see that.
Because like the guy,
it's the problem. It's what's like.
yeah, the guy
the
like he's
issue.
not like making them eat. Nobody's making them eat. Like it's more like the internal desire.
They're
Like the
greedy.
service
I think
people.
I think the service people are making them eat.
Well,
Like
they're
when the
serving
girl,
them. They're
not
like when the
making
girl,
They're
them
not actually force feeding them.
They're not like force feeding them. Other than the guy with the feeding tube.
Yeah.
He's being forced.
Poor guy. He's just like.
And he's just sitting there watching all of it and like.
Man, that's probably even worse because he's like he
He can't
even
stop. Like
He's
he
just
really
watching himself. He's not even like. There's no even thought really. There's no interaction.
And they're just
yeah,
falling.
why? That is crazy that the director chose to include a person who has to eat
Include those different types of
It's
people.
very like. It's also like a challenge. Is like what I originally thought of like with gluttony. Because like I don't know like. Because for me, like, I assume that, like, he's in hell, right? And he, like, died with the feeding tube. And so in hell, he's, like, reincarnated with the feeding tube. Or that's, like, part of his punishment that, like, he has to eat, but he can't taste the food.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, it's, like, the punishment that was catered to him. Like, I don't imagine that the food that they're eating tastes very good. Like, covered in the dust and all that kind of stuff.
No, I don't think so either. I feel like they're just literally going through the motions. Like, they're just doing. Like, I mean. I'm gonna talk about myself. I know sometimes I eat just because I feel like putting stuff in my face.
Because you're bored, yeah.
Because I feel like eating something. So I feel like it's just like they're eating just because they have to eat. Like they're just going through the motions. They're just used to stuff in their face.
It's really sickening. I watched it after dinner and I was just...
Oh man, that's not a good time to watch that.
No, I don't know. It's just very...
But good.
I mean, it captures
It's a very
like,
good film.
the
I really
idea
enjoyed it.
of the torture and the hell, and it makes me uncomfortable, and it grosses me out, and like that's what gluttony, like in essence, is. Like if you look up the like photos done, you know, long time ago when Dante's Inferno was published, like that's how they portray like gluttony and that level of hell, and like I feel like they did such a good job with the modern rendition of it to like get that point across. Like I almost wish that they did like the creators of this like film to the others.
I was thinking that too.
I looked
really
for it
cool,
online,
too.
like to see if they had done any of that. 'Cause, like after reading about Dante's Inferno, like I was like,
That
I want to
would be
see what else
cool.
they've done because it just applies a good spin to it.
But I feel like if they were to do other sins, they would have to do it differently.
Yeah, oh definitely.
Yeah.
They'd have to
Well,
change the entire thing.
Yeah, like would they still be? Like how would they portray the levels, like getting deeper and deeper into hell?
Well, they
I
could do
mean-
like chapters.
Yeah, like
And
it wouldn't have
literally
to be
it
the
just
same
gets
thing.
worse.
It's like
I don't know, but
it's up to creative like
It would
analysis.
be-
But I think it would be interesting. We
I
could do
think
that
it'd
for
be-
our film project.
That would be too hard. I don't think
I think we should take on the
Why
challenge.
would you do that?
I think we
Why
should
would
take
you
on
do
the
that?
challenge.
Okay.
Alright, should we do this
that.
video?
Dr. Hammer, this has been a forewarning for what's coming.
Oh.
Peace
We're gonna do
out.
something creepy. I hope you enjoyed our review as much as we enjoyed making it.
Bye.
Bye, Dr. Hammer.